Welcome back to the Beans with Dreams podcast. We are here with a special guest, and if you guys enjoy the content, if you guys like the content, just tune in, relax. But if you guys would do us a big favor, please like, subscribe, and comment below. What do you want to hear? What do you need from us? What do you want from us? And we'll be happy to provide whatever you guys want. So stay tuned and enjoy the podcast.
Special episode because we have our dear friend here.
Yeah, I'm Matthew. I'm honored to be here. Honored to just chit chat about basically whatever.
Give us a little intro from yourself. What you studying? Where you from? What school you going to?
Yeah. So, I'm from South Texas, just like these guys. Went to high school with them. I'm currently going to school in California. That's where I basically am living nowadays. I'm back home because of COVID and stuff like that. So it's a unique opportunity to be a part of the revival of the podcast with my boys here. So it's awesome. And I'm studying economics. For those wondering, economics accounting to be specific. Pretty into finance and stuff like that. So
A1.
Yeah,
that's where that money's at, huh?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Literally, like people tell me, like, hey, so like, why are you even studying economics? And I'm just like, money. No, but I actually like I really I'm
gonna be real honest with you real quick, boss.
No, it's true though, because like so many people will like, and that's how the major is, because like at the school I go to, it's like super oversaturated for economics majors, right?
Yeah.
So many of the student so much of the student body is like focused on econ, and like so many people are just like, hey, like you're just doing this for money, right? And they're like, yeah, but you know, it's nice to be able to like do it and like your answer not be that you're doing it just for the money. It's like
you gotta work with money to make money, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a quote right there. What do you say? Put that in the mic, man.
You gotta work with money to make some money.
Hey, if that ain't a quote, I don't know what is.
Well, that's what Matthew's doing, you know?
Yeah, like literally, like that's what it's about, man. Like you need to know how money operates in like a market before you can like get it yourself, you know? But aside of that, like it's just fun to do it. It's like something I'm actually passionate about, like finance and like economical theory and stuff like that. It's actually really fun stuff.
That's good if you're passionate about it, you know?
Yeah, we should always be doing something that we're passionate about. Of course, the money's important, right? But
money's important.
I mean, you're in college, gotta learn what you want to do. It's a weird thing.
Yeah,
college is a very odd thing.
I feel like they make you think you need to know what you're already doing before you get into college.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people like to put that idea in our heads, but it's like we just got out of high school and our whole like curriculum, our whole life was almost structured like to a T. Yeah. We always knew what we were doing, knew what we were gonna go do. We always had a plan. Someone else, but most of the time, other people planned it for us, whether it be our parents, teachers, or other people like part of the school board. And now we're taking our own life into our own hands. So it's obviously that we're gonna stumble, right?
Yeah. And we'll also, I mean, we just turned 18. I mean, that's like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
We are children.
And it's trippy, man. Like it all moves so fast. But I kind of go back to what you said, Agu. Like, yeah, I mean, you know, it seems that way. Like a lot of it was kind of laid out for us, and not like the path that we were kind of inclined to take because of like what we've been kind of told to do from those around us. It's not for everybody, right? And it's like, you know, that's something that it's really hard to understand at a young age. It's like, you know, maybe I don't have to do this, maybe I have another way around like the normal pathway to success. Maybe like college isn't exactly what I need, or maybe, you know, this major, this you know, field of study that everyone says, well, you're super good at it, so you should do it. It's like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to really follow what you want to do. And that just felt natural for me, right? Because, I mean, in high school, and it was really hard to discover this, and I was really fortunate to be able to, like, really know what it is I was passionate about very early on. Because when you look at economics, right, in the field of study of economics, it comprises of, like, two things, right? So, like, when I was in high school, I was really passionate about math. I loved math, and I've kind of developed a reputation about math. And then I loved humanities. I loved the writing. I loved being able to talk about the world and like just doing those things. And the intersection of those things was econ. So like for me, that was like a natural next step. And like being able to channel that passion and realize like and think to yourself, okay, the best way to pursue this is higher education, is a college degree, and then from there maybe even a graduate degree. That's something I've been thinking about. But then again, someone who might be passionate about like anything else, it might not be the most conventional.
Definitely, yeah. And then what you said, you're learning a lot more practical skills than you were your first. What would you say, your first semester?
Yeah.
Your first two, or I guess the 2 semesters already been.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you want to look at it in that perspective, I think the best comparison for me is high school, right? So high school, when I was studying like econ, we all took econ with Lucio, right?
Yeah.
It was all very theoretical stuff, easy graphs, like the graphs were lines, you just move the lines up and down and you talk about price. And I took that exact same class, but at the collegiate level, intermediate microeconomics. And the first day I remember I was super freaked out, but also really excited because we had to start off with multivariable calculus, doing super high order derivatives, and like being able to use that just in and of itself. So that was like really scary, but thankfully it was pretty easy to pick up on. And then being able to actually see how it is that pricing models work as to like how certain companies dictate, or certain markets dictate, this is what the price needs to be because this is what our competitors are doing, or this is what the price needs to be because we get to decide our own efficiency. So like you can think about a monopoly, or any sort of industry like that. That's where like those terms come from, and it's cool to see that it's more than just random concepts that we hear about, and
then just graphs, numbers, and it's actually you're seeing it.
It's real, yeah. And again, same thing's happening with macro this semester.
Who was the first homeboy to come up with money?
Yeah, I mean, like, because dude, back in the day, man, trading was like the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'll give you my shoes. You give me some seeds to plant in my.
I got some cheese over here, bro.
Exactly. Dude, yeah, the cheese, man, dude.
I think it was like purely a very they just made money like a standard, right? They put it in there to make it like okay, this is worth this, and they just kind of found the value worth everything, and the monetary value. Well, right, money used to be based off something like gold.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The money was the gold. The money was the precious metals, and like that was what it was. And then eventually, when you look at America, like we had our own little crisis, right? Of like, what metals are we going to base our economy of? Like the silver standard or the gold standard, right?
Sure, yeah.
So like that's how we get the gold standard, and like we every single dollar that we have is kind of backed up somewhere by like some sort of unit of metallic currency.
That's what I was gonna say. So pretty much, a dollar is saying I have this amount of gold somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's what this is worth,
And you could straight up trade it in, right? Back in the day.
Well, like I actually can't say that for sure. I mean, it's something I can't speak on personally. Like I can't really say that I know exactly how you can derive that specifically, but that's basically the gist of it, right? Like you technically have like a unit of something, like a precious metal, right? That dictates the worth of a paper currency, and it just allows for much more simplistic transactions in a market economy. So that's kind of how that works in a way.
Quick shout out to the guy who came up with money, right?
Dude,
Give him a quick search, bro.
Dude, I don't even know. I forget. There's like literally like an answer to that question. Not like super technical like a person, but I think there's like a certain culture that began to use money first.
Dude,
but I can't say I know the answer.
Augie and I have had these conversations lots of times where we're like, who's the first guy to cut grass, like to mow their lawn,
and like why? I mean, obviously I think one answer we got from someone who's like, oh bro, it's obvious, like for practical reasons, because you could see animals coming through,
or to make it look nice, right?
Yeah, to make it look nice. But I was like, but like how long did it take people to figure out or like cut grass,
or to catch on to that?
Yeah, and how did you do it at first, right?
Like, yo, Mark's cutting his grass, I'm gonna cut my grass too.
Like the first people who do things are looked at as weird people. Like imagine the first person who put on like shoes or sandals, right?
For example, but I think I think
that's a bad example.
I mean, like, come on, like shoes are a pretty practical thing, right? Like, especially for hunter gatherers. Like, if the ground's a little messy, dude, let me get some shoes.
Something like glasses, right? Or sunglasses.
No, dude, I'm telling you, you know what the worst
glasses
example is?
Essential, though.
Milking a cow and drinking it.
Yeah,
that's the one. I've seen all the memes about that. Like, dude, what was the first guy who milked a cow who just drank it? Like, just drank it. I mean, just what does that even mean? Like, what are you doing, dude? He's like, it tastes pretty good. You want to try it?
Well, then you're probably bored back then,
Just you had
His
time.
brain's are free.
That's why things are discovered. People get time on their hands.
There's a TED talk about that, about like the importance of boredom, because you were never bored. A lot of like innovations or ideas will never come to light because
or just like I think boredom for sure, but like just being comfortable, right? Like if you're when you're comfortable, then you just kind of like what's a better way to phrase it?
I think maybe I understand what you're getting at. My guess is that, like, you know, there is such thing as being too comfortable, and then it gives way to mediocrity and just like being okay with whatever you're doing at that moment, which is like fine in a certain context, but like, you know, for innovation's sake, being comfortable all the time doesn't offer itself new opportunities regularly. So it's like you want to be comfortable to a certain degree where it's like you're happy with where you're at, but you want to be uneasy enough or bored enough so that way there's room to like want to do more,
to grow, to like make things, to do things.
To grow more.
Or what's also weird is when some things that you wouldn't think inspire things, other things inspire them. For example, like in when the Wright brothers invented the plane,
right?
They used bicycles, and then they would use like those like paper. I don't know if it was paper or like those boards to kind of like maneuver, and then that inspired them to make or to
that's odd.
At least a design for the first airplane, stuff like that, or like how birds inspire the designs of modern jets, airplanes.
And
I think I heard on Neil deGrasse Tyson, like when he was on with Joe Rogan, they were talking about microwaves and stuff, right? And they're like, because microwaves weren't discovered for the purpose of heating up food. They were testing microwaves in different like frequencies for war for military purposes. But like through the different testing, they noticed that microwave, like a certain frequency of microwave would like melt food or like
heat it up
heat up food. And so like I think the further thing he was trying to say was that science as a whole is like people say like we shouldn't invest or we shouldn't put money or taxes money into NASA or into like certain things because we have a lot of problems currently, right? But I think his whole argument was that we should, because we don't really know. I mean, we could discover some things along the way, like in while studying these things, that could solve the problems we have now.
I totally get what you mean, man. Certain research often begs itself to dip into other fields of study or dip into other practical uses. Exactly. So, like, you know, the use of microwaves, like, you know, I mean, you think of a microwave, you think of the machine, but like in reality, this is a very scientific concept of the microwave, right? And it's like it's really remarkable how certain fields of study have a way of dipping into each other unintentionally, and it's like, hey, this has a very practical use in something that we did not intend it for, and it's like this can become something very modern, very revolutionary, and that's kind of what motivates that kind of growth, and that's awesome. And
the fact that it's like a household item too, a microwave. And then it uses that science and those physics of
microwaves,
microscopic waves.
Right, like being able to like channel the waves and, you know, do all that stuff. He did like a little motion with his hands there, just like trying to like show the waves for sure.
And then it's also funny how when people try to make predictions of what the future would be like, for the most part, they're somewhat close, but they're also way off. Like, they'll be way off about the whole aspect of the future. But then they'll get one little aspect of it kind of close to what it was. Like
in like what, for example? Like in TV or
for
books,
example, like if someone
just media in general.
Like for example, a good example is 1984, right? So when was that book written?
I think in the 50s.
Like in the 50s, right? And obviously back then, if they had any televisions, it was like these very primitive versions of TVs compared to what we have now. But George Orwell wrote about telescreens and how they were pretty much walls that were a screen. And now we have projectors, or we have, you know, flat screen TVs.
TVs almost the size of a wall.
But what we don't have is a dystopian
a dystopian society.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of ironic because it's like normally for Orwell, right? And you look at Orwellian literature and you look back at 1984 or like an Animal Farm. Most of the times, it's not so much the technology that was hailed as being the prophecy foretold, but rather it's like in 1984, as you said, it's not like the telescreen that people were thinking like, wow, he predicted the TV, but it's like, man, he predicted the fact that our society is very or like our specific government, like the United States government, is very I don't know what the proper term is, just it's very involved in our private lives, and it's like, is there such thing as like higher order elites that like kind of look down on us and do that? And that's kind of where you get like conspiracy theories. But it's interesting to think that that's like I didn't even think of that, like that the fact that he had referenced like this higher order technology. It's like the center of the discussion is often like the philosophy and like the political thought and the political prophecy of the text, and not so much like all the other details that kind of go along with it, like the creativity that goes into it.
Well, we still don't have flying cars, right?
Not yet,
Not
bro.
yet.
Was it do androids dream of electric sheep, the hover cars or whatever they were?
Oh yeah.
No,
Shout out to Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy.
Mr. Dick.
That would suck. That's an unfortunate name.
Is
but
it?
well, nowadays, but back then it was a common name.
Yeah, just what's up, Dick?
Or like the nickname DJ. Like that was a nickname, and now it means.
You ever watch Mad Men?
No, I don't like.
That was a. You ever watch Mad Men?
I haven't seen Mad Men. No.
No, it was like a. The main character. The only reason why I bring it up is because like the main guy's his actual name is Dick. Yeah. But like he changed his name through like, it's
other reasons. I think
reasons.
I think I had seen a video about Mad Men. So like I think I know what you're talking about. He had like this fake identity, right?
Yeah.
And like his real name was that, but
yeah.
he like he adopted his like the identity of someone else, right?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. He adopted the identity of someone who had died in the war. Because he used to be, he was a veteran. Okay. And so. Right. Got it. But
this whole time I was thinking of Watchmen, the DC. I'm like, wait, that doesn't sound like Watchmen.
Yo, Watchmen in the Vietnam War. Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've never watched Watchmen.
I haven't seen it either. I haven't seen it. It's on my watch list though.
Yeah.
That I have a bad habit of that. Like just adding so much crap to my watch list or my read list, and then just never moves. It just gets bigger.
Man, you took a whole class on movies, right?
Yeah. No, literally, it was probably my favorite class. Like last semester, dude. It was so good. That was my spring semester of my freshman year, and dude, this is a great class. Like literally, it shows like the comparison. Mainly, it's like the class is structured with the backdrop of like you have a literature, like a text, right, like something to read, and then you compare the film adaptation, and then from there, it's like you have to be able to break down the same themes that are present in the literature. In the film, right? So you have to be able to like look at it through the context of film and like seeing the ways that like, because we studied that in high school, right? Like how books convey theme, like well they do like metaphors, or they have like certain figurative language that they use to kind of convey a larger meaning. But in movies, it's it's not that simple. Like there's so many other elements to it. Like cinematography plays a big part in like the presentation of a certain theme or role. So like we saw this film, right, where this guy, it's called Rear Window. It's a very classic film from the director. You have to pardon me, I kind of forgot his name. Rear Window. He's a famous director.
We'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it. Well, let's look it up real quick because I literally he's literally a legend, and I don't know why. Oh, Alfred Hitchcock, of course. Yeah,
my boy.
It's Alfred Hitchcock. I'm so sorry, I forgot it. It's such a good movie, and literally, like he makes some great decisions as the director. Like he chooses to have like the perspective of a camera, right, being like closed off in all other respects, but except just a very zoomed in thing, and it's like it's a very important detail because it's like the camera is such a main proponent of the film.
Yeah, and it's like. In every shot, you have to think about where the camera's gonna be, where the lighting's gonna hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the characters are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can have a scene, especially if you're getting it from a source, from like a written source, or it shows the scene.
Right.
So you kind of picture that in your head, but then if you're actually gonna projected on the screen, you have to think about where the characters are.
Yeah.
And stuff like
exactly.
And all the subjects in the frame, and like being able to like have so much action going on in one frame, but still like putting the audience's eyes towards what you really trying to portray.
Yeah.
I think that's where good, really like magnificent cinematography, like comes into play. Like directors are really brilliant people.
Yeah, I would argue that too. I think that's very important. It's actually a really strange phenomenon. Well, not strange. It's actually pretty commonplace because, like, in the world of film adaptation, right? Like, so much about a text, like an original text, won't be incorporated, or at least won't be translated word for word or line for line in a script or in the way that the movie's presented, right? So in the film Rear Window, right? Like the text is like the original text, right? Is like this like detective like storytelling thing. It's like a short story, and it's like based on like the world of like, you know, crime and like crime drama and like, you know, oh, like who committed a murder, right? Or maybe they committed a murder or whatever, and that's like, you know, the premise of that, and that's also the premise of the movie. The guy, like, he's basically in a wheelchair out of injury, and he's a photographer, and he like thinks he saw his neighbor across his like a little apartment suite commit a murder, or at least he thinks he's a murderer. And you know, it's pretty crazy. The themes at large in both the text and both the film can be so different. So like the text manages, and that's, I think that kind of, I don't want to like kind of drone off into something else, but like it leads back into the whole idea of, is it adapted faithfully or is it adapted kind of loosely? And it's adapted faithfully to the extent that it is able to like get the same kind of storyline, right? Or at least the same kind of narrative, but it does it in a better way. It's like Alfred Hitchcock manages to like present the film in a way that you begin to question, like, is it even morally right to suspect someone of murder right across from you, or like to take drastic actions to find out on your own, right? And then like in the text, right, it's made out to be like some sort of like, you know, like, I don't want to say child's point of view, but it's like, you know, very naive, where it's like, oh, of course we're gonna do it. It's like very one-sided, you know. But the film makes you consider the fact, like, what if it isn't okay? What if it's more of like an obsession than it is like a journey for justice? And like that's, you know, kind of the things that you really got to consider when it's like, what are the true differences in both the text and the film? It's the themes that are presented, for sure.
Hot damn. That's some knowledge right there.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it is a lot to unpack, for sure.
Yeah, and
I had a whole semester to do it. Yeah.
That's why there's whole like classes about it. And
it's like a legit subject, and that's why, like, you know, a lot of people get kind of like frowned upon for like having interest in the arts, because it's like, you know, there's no career in the arts. But that kind of goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. It's like, if you're passionate about that, then you can translate that passion very oftentimes, no matter what it is, into something successful, so long as you really are passionate about it.
Yeah, and also, from what I've heard, cause I've heard that too, like about if you want to go into music, if you want to become an artist, if you want to do stuff in cinema or film. But those are the things that, like, those are the things that make stuff nice to look at or nice to listen to.
Yeah.
You know, like, imagine if we didn't have art or music, you know, how boring stuff would be. That's why when you want to relax, you put a movie on or you put some music on.
Yeah.
You kind of forget the value of that because, you know, initially you don't see the money in it, or you don't see, you know, the physical value of it.
Definitely.
But humans hold that in a different level compared to like jobs or.
Yeah. It's important, man. Stories are important. Art is very important, and like literally, I think it was this political quiz. It was very popular that it kind of trended for a little while, that everyone was taking, like you would see someone on YouTube take it or whatever, and I took it as well. And one of the questions was, do you think that very practical jobs in like the economy, like being I don't know, like someone that works in finance, someone that's an engineer, or someone like, you know, that actively contributes to society in a very practical, like tangible way, are those careers more important than artists, right? Like musicians, writers, painters, and just all around those kinds of you know, more loosely based careers that aren't as tangible as like an engineer. And I think for me, I won't say like the whole political results, but like just for that specific question, for sure, it's like absolutely not. There's no one of them is not more important than the other, in my opinion. I think it's like they're both very important to our society. You need one to have some general stability, but you need one to have flavor.
To be human. To be
human. That's exactly right. That's a whole part of the human experience. Is just being able to relate to one another,
and enjoy things. Like being human. That's why we're different than beast. We have the ability.
Built different.
We just built different, dude.
Exactly. Shit, dude. Exactly, man. It's important. It's absolutely important, man. Because and that kind of it's really funny because you said that exactly, and like that's also in one of the readings for a class I'm taking this semester. It's another writing class, and it's like about this Roman statesman named Cicero, and basically he says that in one of his like political letters, or not political letters, philosophical letters. It's like one of the last ones called On Obligations, De Officiis in Latin, and basically he says the same thing. He says, like men are different from beast, and in their ability to make decisions and moral like choices, and just being able to have reason. So like it kind of leads off into a different philosophical direction than kind of what we're talking about, but like it's the same kind of concept. Like we are different from other species in a pretty significant way, and our ability to think and convey what we're thinking with others in a pretty powerful way. So I think that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Just like we said, just built different.
How many other animals can talk?
How many other animals have foot fetishes? You know what I mean?
Oh, God. Maybe not all artists. Maybe some artists are inferior.
With the good comes the bad, because there's so many.
Naturally, dude. Man, like how do we evolve and then devolve to like furries and stuff? Like
that's an illness.
That's an illness.
No, we can't.
Nah, dude,
we can't discriminate.
No, it's 2020.
Because as far as we know, all the half of the beans with Dream fans are like furries or something.
Oh, dude, I am. If you were, count me in.
Come out of the furry club.
I didn't tell you.
So I guess this is where I come out of my furry closet.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Dude, there's gotta how many letters? Like, what's the ratio of letters that are in the?
In that thing?
Yeah. Like to the alphabet. Cause this is what? How many letters are in the alphabet? Like 20.
26.
26, right?
Cause like it's LGBTQ.
IA. I think so.
And then they just put a plus at the end.
Plus? Oh, count that as another letter.
No, not.
It's kind of like a. In case we, it's like literally the way I've always seen.
In case we forgot.
Yeah, like I've always because like when I see the plus, it's like it's not like this is like I don't mean this like in any bad way, but it's like when I see the plus, it's like TBD. Like when we find out, we'll share it with you. Yeah. But it's like just give it time. Like we're getting this information and we're just conveying it to you as soon as we can. Like when new stuff comes out, the DLC we'll hit you up.
The DLC.
The patch.
The patch notes.
Oh, dude. That's wild.
That was a moment of silence there for that joke, I guess. I don't know.
That was a moment. We'll edit that part out.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of another topic.
I don't know. We can pretty much talk about anything. But I don't know, boys.
You listen to that new Kanye track?
I don't listen.
What do you listen to? Like, what's your genre?
Right now, I'm really into funk.
Funk?
Yeah, I like some funk. Cause I'm playing bass. Like I've been practicing bass like all the time, and I'm getting really into.
The only funk I know is funkadelic.
Funkadelic.
Really? Get the funk out of my face. Get the funk. You ever heard that?
I've heard of it, but like I haven't put enough time.
Music. You don't have to use. It's so good, man. Funk is great. I went through this whole funk like disco era. Like it was like a mix of like the disco era and like the funk era. Of music in like the 70s and 80s. I had like so many discs of that in my car. I went through that phase as like a kid.
Yeah,
it was awesome. So I totally love that. But nowadays I kind of listen to whatever. I mean, nowadays I've kind of been into kind of soft pop. I guess you can call it like electro pop. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. There's that. I also like retro wave, like 80s kind of like music. That's really cool. Like Running in the Night, like FM84 is a good example of that kind of genre.
You guys have some taste, man. I have been just
well, like going back to what you were saying. It's like you always go back to what you listened to as a kid, like whatever your parents would play.
Yeah.
Because I know my dad, he listens to a lot of everything, but he was a real big fan of like Metallica and stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll just be thinking like, what do I want to listen to? And I'll just look up Metallica and I'll be jamming out.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. My dad would listen to a lot of like Guns N' Roses. What else? I got a whole. I just
gotta pull up a whole discography.
Only Guns N' Roses.
No, only dude. Imagine. No. But like, I know what you mean, right? Like, as a, I used.
It's kind of, I guess, what you would consider classic rock and roll.
Okay. Yeah. Because like, that was exactly what I was gonna say. Like, another like, I guess it's more honed in, right? Like, I've been listening to a lot more Fleetwood Mac and King Crimson. Like, I love their work. They're great. Obviously like the album that's like the go-to for Crimson or King Crimson, or is it Crimson King? King Crimson, right? I don't know. One of those. I feel bad because like I feel like there's a King Crimson fan out there, and it's just like I'm insulting them. But it's In the Court of the Crimson King. It's a very good album. I like Epitaph and 21st Century Schizoid Man, both classics.
The only reason why I know that is because Kanye sampled it. Kanye sampled it,
yeah. The whole album's great, but those are obviously like the two hits that came off the song, or came off the album. And then of course Fleetwood Mac, of course, has Dreams. It's kind of been trending recently.
Yeah, shout out Dogface.
Dogface, absolutely.
My man.
Dr. Phil did it too. Like,
I saw that.
It's a great video. But yeah, that's kind of like the vibe I've been kind of listening to recently. It's pretty chill. I like it. I kind of think my phone off of it too. Like, it's like
the new update.
Yeah, like this is like the background.
I didn't mess with that.
No, I haven't messed. I haven't even downloaded the update. It's just cool. It's not because like. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
But that's like the whole '80s like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a whole '80s retro kind of thing, retro wave thing. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
No, I hate trends. Like I can't stand trends.
Well, like what does that mean? like
whenever something becomes popular, I just hate it. Like every time I see it.
This is like
you're a hipster.
I guess so. I don't know.
No, I mean I guess. I mean, because look, I mean I kind of get what you mean, right? Like I'm not gonna pretend that I don't understand what you mean. Like sometimes like a lot of trends and what the majority of people oftentimes like to just consume. It's like it could be very overrated, oversaturated. It's just not good. But other times, and this is like what goes through my mind, because I kind of have a similar mentality where it's like, oh, it's really popular and I haven't really seen it. I don't really think I want to see it. But then I'm just like, okay, it's popular for a reason. Let me at least watch it or like give it a shot or like see what's up with it. Like that was me with The Office for a while too, where it's like, dude, The Office is super popular and it's like everyone watches, everyone talks about it. I think it's just oversaturated and I think it's overdone. And then I actually saw it, and now it's like one of my favorite shows because it's like actually really good. But I mean, I think it's all part of like the idea of like toxic fan bases and like people that take it too far.
That's
and it's
always
like,
the issue.
Yeah,
it's never about the actual product. It's more about the people who follow it.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, then you don't like the thing. I mean, you don't hate the thing that's popular. You hate the people that really obsess over it. Take it a little too far.
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant with the trend.
Because like things are popular for a reason.
Like the Among Us game.
Yeah.
Like we play that and that's fun.
It's fun.
But then I see all these memes about it.
Oh,
like,
dude.
Jesus Christ.
Look, some of the memes are good, but then you get into like the weird.
Some of them are weird. Some of them are really weird. Like actually,
the pink on yellow. We're just taking it too far, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be taken to those lengths, and yet people will find a way, regardless.
I agree.
Shout out my boy Neely. If he's listening to the podcast, you're number one fan, next to Sanchez.
I wasn't.
Number two.
I wasn't. I wasn't very pro Neely in high school.
Really?
I didn't really. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, but that's kind of like, I wanted to learn, and then Neely was just like screaming the whole time.
Frat boy.
Yeah, dude,
like
for real.
Student.
Dude, I know.
How did he get kicked out? of our school.
He didn't kick. I don't think he
never
out.
did.
He just Miss Q came back.
Oh, but I thought wasn't he there for a while, even when McQ was there.
He was.
But like he left for a reason.
Oh, did he?
I'm pretty.
I think from what I heard and what I remember,
I don't even think we can keep this.
he got transferred.
Oh,
like I think he's at another idea school.
I thought. Oh, see, I think I heard that he got transferred, and then he got he bullied some kid.
Oh, that's probably.
Dude, he bullied Rudy. He put him against the wall with his holding his throat.
Yeah, but Rudy, I know, but Rudy wasn't a bitch about it. He was like, yeah, nearly, all choked out.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We can't keep this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to edit it out.
No.
We'll edit it out. It's fine. We'll edit it out.
Whatever.
Neely's not gonna listen to this.
But if he gets fired from whatever job he's at
let's
right
just
now.
edit it out. It's just edit that one bit.
All right.
But I mean, whatever. The point is, well, I don't know what was the point of that. I don't.
If we do censor that, we'll just instead of putting that, we'll just put our ad in it.
We'll put our
We need
ad.
sponsors.
Oh yeah, dude, we're gonna get.
So,
we're planning to get sponsored by Charlie Clark.
Here's the part.
I was like, yo, for real?
I mean, ideally, yes.
We're calling out all sponsors, potential sponsors.
From the RGV.
Reach out at us. We don't have a designated email right now.
We are in the process of making an email, a Twitter, an Instagram. What else?
That's a YouTube channel.
On MySpace is.
Oh yeah, our
coming,
YouTube.
okay?
We're gonna post this on
We're
YouTube.
gonna post it on YouTube. Okay.
And then, but we should post it somewhere else. Where's the good place?
We post it on SoundCloud.
But see, the problem with SoundCloud is that you only have it's perfect for artists who make
music with question marks.
Who make SoundCloud
But
music.
we can't put podcasts on there. Or?
I mean, it'll be on there, but then we have a certain time limit unless we get
Okay.
the pro.
No, then YouTube all the way.
YouTube all the way. But there's got to be another place where we could put
Better not get
podcasts,
fucked over.
right? Oh, dude, we just can't put any clips.
Oh yeah. One time we uploaded a video and we put a bunch of clips from the internet. And we got taken down.
we got
Dude,
we got demonetized before we could get demonetized.
It's so funny, dude. I literally, this is the same thing happened to me, dude. I'm not even a content creator. I had to do it for my school project. No, literally. So I was it was for Spanish, right? I've been taking Spanish over the past year. I've taken it for 2 semesters already. And we had to do this project where we make food, and we narrate it in Spanish. Yeah. And I did, and I was playing Santana, Oye Como Va, because I was this is perfect. It sets the tone. It's cooking, and it's Spanish. And, Oye Como Va. So it's perfect. I played it while I was recording, and I tried to upload it to YouTube, and it's dude, it's not letting me upload. I'm what the heck? And I was on Xbox, I think, just talking with some homies. I was guys, this is really pissing me off. I think you might have been there. I know Aaron was there. It's another one of our friends. And I was really upset because I needed to submit this, and it wasn't letting me submit it, and I couldn't figure out why. I go to my actual PC because I couldn't upload it from my phone, and it turns out I needed to set the ad settings. I will not claim ad revenue because I was
demonetized.
It detected that I was playing the song Oye Como Va, and it was hey, dude, you can't do that. You can't play that. And I was okay, I don't plan on claiming any ad revenue. And then that's when they're all right, you're good to go. So that's when I was able to upload it and send my project.
It's so strict,
yeah,
what you can and can't. I mean, with music, I understand they gotta get that. They gotta get those royalties. You know what I mean?
But even if you play someone else's video in your video,
yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not music. It's another music. Video.
I mean, even if you give them credit, as much credit as you can. I mean, I don't know how we could have got around that. Maybe we just weren't experienced.
They have to approve it.
See, and that's a big issue, especially for smaller, very small channels.
Mm-hmm.
On the way, baby.
Oh my gosh.
The road to a mil.
Road to road to 10, bro. Road to, we gotta start.
We got some views, right?
Our first episode, we got some views.
That's what I heard. That's what I remember.
Someone commented on one of our videos that we have no idea who it was.
I'm pretty sure it had to be one of those
Oh, okay, one of those people.
What do you mean one of those people? What are you talking about?
I mean, our dedicated fan base.
Yo, this guy's probably listening. You're dissing him, right? It's
for sure.
Hey, dude.
I think it was a chick.
Okay, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Appreciate the support.
We have fangirls.
Yeah, what can we say? We're the Beans of Dreams.
They can suck it up, right? If you're a Beans of Dreams fan, you
don't be a
don't be a bitch. Come on,
Oh my god.
Just don't be a bitch.
You have tough skin.
Yeah.
You can't come in here and get like offended.
Nah, this isn't the place for that.
This has been a mild episode, but I mean,
we get pretty bad. I mean, back in the day, 4 years ago. Damn, 4 years ago. But we used to be off the charts. We would have got canceled real quick.
You know, someone started high school that year that you started it, and then around this time they would have already graduated. It's 4 years. It's crazy to think about.
Right. You would have been a fishy.
Now you're a senior.
Now you're a senior. But now you're at home.
Yeah, now you're at home listening to
Dude,
this.
my
I don't know why
sister's
you
a
said
senior
that.
right now.
I make it seem like that's such a big deal. We were like 1 year from like just it's just a 1 year
that
difference.
sounds like we could have had kids and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that.
Dude, I mean,
guys.
some people do have kids.
Crazy.
Isn't that weird?
Okay, bro, but that's not like
No,
you
but I
know
mean- but
family like oh shoot got
Does
knocked
someone,
up.
someone from our graduating class have a kid already?
I'm sure, dude.
You think so?
No way.
I mean, just maybe on the
We can't
low.
say any names, but
No,
Well, not from our
people-
graduating
it's-
class, but from our
it's
year
like-
that we graduated.
Oh, dude, yeah, well, yeah, 100%. But I mean, like from our school specifically, like I could already like, there's people that are like a year, 2 years below us that already like,
Yeah.
with child.
Well, I think it's crazy, dude. Like people back in the day, people were just like 15's the age to go. You
That's
know
it,
what I
we're
mean?
good. We're good
Like
to
you
go.
best have a kid. You
You're
best be
already through
married by
puberty,
14.
especially if you're a girl, because girls go through puberty much younger than guys.
Yeah.
And like if you're, well, I'm not saying it's okay nowadays. 'Cause we don't want to pull a.
No, but I mean, it's like you know.
Kevin.
Oh my god. But it makes sense though, because I mean, like you know, throughout society, right? Like throughout the course of history, right? Like you know, the time of which you know people kind of get married or get together, like has increased so much. Like it used to be like in your teenage years, you can find someone, just get married, and then start a family, and then you live together forever, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like you know,
Until 35.
early,
That's
it's
the
until
life
30.
expectancy.
Yeah, until you 35 or like
That's not that bad.
late 20s, and then you die. But no, I mean like you know it's kind of shifted pretty hard, especially like with you know America being like the you know very individualism based country. It's like you know you go out and you live for yourself, right? And you really have no obligation to like a previous family name. You don't have to like get married to another big family to like kind of stay relevant. But like you know it makes sense, and like even more so like so many more people through the course of like you know especially modern history like now are becoming super independent. So it's like I want to focus on my career, my name, my everything, and then
Which is fair.
Which is fair, right? It's not a bad thing, but it's like you know that's kind of like not so much as a good or bad thing, but rather like an explanation as to why people are getting married later. I think.
Yeah, and then it's not surprising to hear someone who's at 30 or older and is barely getting in a relationship or a serious one or getting engaged.
Yeah, barely getting like in a serious relationship or getting like married. That's
It's
crazy.
almost like surprising where it's like, well, you're already engaged and you're like barely like 19 or you're barely like like 20.
But that was the
23.
norm. If not, like that was like the late
time. Yeah, back when. I mean, I wasn't even like
back
around
in the day.
I wasn't even like around then, but just you know. Yesterday.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
Oh man. You cut this.
Yeah. No, we'll just keep this in. And then it's just them like.
Stretch break.
Take a break.
This is the other ad break.
Welcome to we're sponsored by Bath and Body Works.
Sponsored
Who do you want to be
I want to take a
sponsored
minute to talk
by
about
Freddy's,
Squarespace.
by who?
Freddy, the burger place.
Oh, Freddy's? That'd be okay, but I really think Charlie Clark and Bath and Body Works would be like ideal.
The free car.
You know,
free
like,
car, free German.
you know what's really funny, right? Like, I don't actually. You know what? Nothing's funny. Forget I said anything. There's
No,
nothing funny in the world.
Please.
No, it's like you know, doesn't it kind of defeat the purpose? I've always wondered that, where it's like, where content creators will jokingly make a meme, right? It's like, hey, sponsor me. I want this people to sponsor me. And it's like, why do they have to sponsor you? You're already like talking about them, and you like made a whole like inside joke on your channel about them. Like, you know, you don't need to spread their name anymore. It's like, what are you gonna do? Just like instead of talking about them like in a lighter, more comic context, you talk about them seriously. It's like, you know, I used to joke about them all the time, but now they're on my team.
I don't know, dude. If G Fuel would get at us,
I want my own flavor. I
want my own flavor.
No, it's not the PewDiePie.
But PewDiePie has millions of subscribers.
Like, he's already an established creator. I want my own flavor.
We were talking about this on the ride over. We're like,
I want a lifetime supply for free.
Exactly. Like we go into a place, they don't even know we want a sponsorship, and we're just already making demands.
No, they don't even know who we are.
You have no idea.
Like, so what's your sponsorship program? Or what? A sponsorship? Like for a business?
Oh, just put code beans.
Like, no, I like to think it's even more like
we should just make up our own code.
Like you should go through like a drive-through window, not even in person, and you're just like, hey, can I help you, sir? It's like, yeah, we want a lifetime supply of your product. We want giveaway money so we can do like some mrbeast type crap, and yeah, and then we want I don't know, I already said the free food. I mean, that's it. And just like
can I speak to your manager at the
like they have no idea what it is,
but speaking to the manager to get a sponsorship deal to like a big franchise like McDonald's.
Bro,
give me a lifetime supply of Travie patties.
Let me get that beans with dream meal.
Beans with dream meal.
BWD.
Like, sir, this is a Wendy's. Like, what are you doing?
Yes, sir.
Y'all saw what happened with Travie?
His legacy. Like, I love that meme. I mention it all the time.
I know. Matthew's always trying to bully me because he knows I like Travis Scott. And he's always like, hey, you know what Travis is gonna be known for? Fortnite and McDonald's.
No, it's so funny, and like it didn't even like I had never like thought about it in that way before until I saw the meme where it's like, I don't even have to say who I'm talking about, and you already know. And it's sort of just a picture of Fortnite and a picture of McDonald's. Yeah. Like, just the background wallpaper for Fortnite, and then the golden arches. And it's just like, yo, my boy Travis.
Yo, the guy from Fortnite?
The guy from Fortnite, dude.
Yeah. The guy from Fortnite's making music.
Yo, they made a meal about the guy from Fortnite. Dude, it's so crazy.
They made a movie.
That would be like if we talked about Kevin Spacey and we're like, yo, dude, that guy from Call of Duty.
That's legendary, though.
That's his breakout role.
Isn't it crazy that like some kids will only know a certain person from like one thing? Like if let's say like for some reason no one knew that Ice Cube was Bowman, right?
Yeah.
What if they were like, yo, dude, Bowman makes music?
No, but like, I mean, you could look at it from his movies. Like, he makes popular movies, like with Kevin Hart or like all that stuff. Like, what is it like?
Are we there yet?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love that movie. As a kid, I grew up on that. I found out later that he made music.
Yeah.
Like, yo, the kid from Are We There Yet makes music.
And like way before that.
Yeah.
Because also like Jack Black.
Yeah.
Like you know him from movies, but he's
Poe.
from Poe. Yeah. But he was a musician.
Oh wow! Yeah, I totally
from Tenacious D.
Yeah.
There you go. But you don't know that because you're as a kid.
It's Jack Black.
You watch Kung Fu Panda.
You seen his Five Nights at Freddy's TikTok?
I think I have.
Jack Black's?
You haven't seen that one?
No, I don't use TikTok too much because I'm like Felipe. I hate popular stuff.
I hate TikTok.
I enjoy it, man. It's funny.
Well, like you showed me, what is it?
Christina Pease.
Yeah, Christina Pease. This great comedian married to the legendary Tom Segura.
Tommy. Her Instagram is pretty great because she posts TikToks
that are like of crackheads.
Or like a good one.
Okay. That sounds very appealing.
It's like crackheads with an iPhone.
You want to see like crackhead TikTok or something?
Okay. Oh, crackhead TikTok is great.
Yeah, crackhead anything is great. Like
me and Felipe had a deal to do crackhead hunting.
God. I have like such a negative connotation for crackheads, but not for the reason you think. It's like, oh, I mean, obviously, right? Like, you know, you don't like drugs. I'm like, no, it's because like white girls use that to describe themselves all the time.
No,
like,
no. I mean
crackhead energy.
No. I mean crackhead.
Emily.
Crackhead Emily.
They do like they hop on like it's like, you know, the thing you used to do as kids where you would walk on like the pavement, like on the sidewalk, but it's like super thin, so you'd go foot over foot. It's like, oh my god, stop it, dude! She's a crackhead. Like, just for doing that.
I've seen all those memes.
Yeah. They're great.
I think the best thing I did as a kid with my cousin was we would go, well, not the best thing, but a fun thing was we would go to McDonald's and
imagine, like, dude, the best thing I did when I was a kid, dude, I went to McDonald's, dude.
But
hey, dude, some people
it's great.
The playground.
we would go to the playground on the slide, but we would get the trays.
Yeah.
And we would slide on the trays. But I would make you go super fast. And you would fly out of the slide and like land like 10 feet away.
That's just some beater energy.
But one time we broke the trays. And we just like threw them in the corner and we laughed. It's so much fun. Like, if I could do that today and not frowned upon because I'm 19, I would do that because you go so fast down the slide.
Man, being a kid.
Honestly, if you recorded it and you were kind of respected already, then I think you'd be okay.
I think we can do that. Like
then,
if we ever,
it blows up on the internet.
Like when we do get a recorder, like a camcorder, we're gonna be going around like taking like the stupidest videos. Dude.
You gotta.
Have you ever like known like a crackhead? Like I mean, not like confirmed crackhead. Like you see him doing crack, but like his actions and like his
I know what you do,
dude. Because like at the pool, there was like it wasn't crackheads, but there was like some guys who did some very questionable things, very questionable activities.
Okay.
But I'm talking about like now. I work at a restaurant. In the kitchen, right? And there's always some people like always working, like always on the move. But like where I work, I'm a dishwasher, and bro, some of the guys there, like they're missing a couple of teeth. They smell funky when they come in, like
at the restaurant you work at.
Yes.
I mean, I guess.
Well,
but that doesn't seem like a very rundown like place.
No, it's not. It's just that's
the behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's the kitchen. I mean,
honestly, the kitchen.
Yeah, that's just a lot of.
I was like, dude, the clientele. Like, you pull up, like, may I take your order? And then it's like a crackhead trying to order. And you're not mentioning the place on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, this place definitely is not like. There's a very stark difference here. That's why I laugh. It's like no way a crackhead's gonna show up at this place.
No, it's a sad thing that kitchens, like a lot of the time, they hire like, well, I mean, people with a lot of like, with legal trouble, like in the past, they have to work at kitchens and stuff just because they can't find a job a lot of different places. Yeah. So it's like, and naturally, a lot of people maybe who've got into legal trouble, maybe on drugs or whatever. And dude, it's really packed full of people who've had some real bad. I guess
run-ins with the law.
Yes.
There you go.
5-star wanted level.
I love the memes, man. It's like
5-star wanted level challenge.
Just to feel wanted.
Just to feel wanted. Yeah, that's the meme. Yeah. Just to feel wanted. Oh, wait, here, look here. Before I forget, this is the Jack Black Finance Freddy video. Here.
We're gonna get banned.
Five Nights at Freddy's. That's where I wanna be. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Leggings.
It's so good, yeah.
Shout out Jack Black. All credit goes to Jack Black, the man himself. You're not gonna get demonetized right now.
No, I don't think that's gonna affect us.
No, it doesn't. That's not how that works. But it's just, it's
Jack
so
Black
funny.
hit us up. We can maybe work out a deal. We'll put in code black.
Keep it black. Code black.
Keep it black like Jack.
Hey, my brother, stay black. Dude,
brother.
Shout out to Jack Black.
Shout out Jack Black. Jackie Brown.
Not a movie. The movie, right?
Yeah, Jackie Brown. What a good movie. Quentin Tarantino's a good.
47. Is it? Or what are you talking about?
Jackie Brown.
Oh,
Jackie
I'm thinking about Jackie Robinson. Alright, yeah. No,
anyone with Jackie in the name?
Well, Robinson's cool.
No, it's not even close. Right? Yeah.
Shout out Jackie Brown.
I mean, it's a couple letters away.
I was thinking Jackie Brownieson. Brownieson.
No,
Brown Nissan.
I haven't seen the movie though.
Charlie.
Shout out Charlie Clark.
Charlie Clark. The man.
Oh man.
That's funny, dude. You mentioned that. Like my mom worked with him. Like
Charlie Clark.
Yeah, directly for him.
Did
Yeah.
you meet him?
And I wasn't born yet.
But
do you think
in
your
the
mom
womb.
can still get us in contact?
I don't know what happened. Like in between the time that she moved for him and the time that I was born, like, and let alone the time now, like the 19 years after I was born, but no, in between that time, like I think he was abducted by the cartel. Like by the cartel. I think he was abducted by the cartel. Yeah, they had to pay ransom money from what I heard.
They put him in one of his cars.
We cut that though. We cut that for sure.
No, we're not cutting
No.
What?
that. That just
Bro?
builds on his legacy.
That's just stories.
Oh,
Look,
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Charlie
These
Clark-
are stories, right? Yeah, these are stories, you know.
Charlie Clark's gonna be a recurring character in this podcast.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
And
Regardless
it's
of if he
just
gets
more-
sponsorship or not.
more lore.
Until he shows up.
Until he's on the podcast,
on
then
the
he can like either
Episode
like
100.
confirm or deny all these.
True.
Was it true you were abducted by the cartel? Yes. Like we just have a whole list. Was it true? Yes. Was it?
Don't say that one. Yes. Don't say that one out loud.
Off cam.
Yeah, bro, I'll tell you off camera. That's the exclusivity, right? Of like having the podcast, being the podcast speakers versus like being the listener. It's like, hey, off camera. You tell me off camera. Then, like, that's true.
Yeah. That's the whole reason why I started a podcast, just to learn Charlie Clark's dirty secrets.
That's exactly why. Yeah, sounds good.
Man.
I love that we'll like go from talking about something just immediately to dead silence.
No one else has a topic.
I think this is solid.
This is
think
fun,
so?
dude. And that's the thing, like, you know, a normal format for like a podcast among people that like take Joe Rogan for example, right? Like he brings on famous people or like people that have done stuff worthy of asking a bunch of questions of. Versus us, we're just a bunch of like beings with dreams.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, we could talk about our lives, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably like better to talk about culture at large. Our lives are only interesting to a certain extent, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know who Charlie Clark is, but you'll find out.
You'll find out.
I'm sure if you search up Charlie Clark, like he'll pop up.
Maybe I don't need. I
You
doubt.
probably have to do some looking. Like if you look up,
Do you think just?
if you
I don't
look up
think
Charlie
so.
Clark and then the company that it works for, then you'll find.
So
No,
basically,
I think
like,
just Charlie
no,
Clark.
you won't find the name Charlie Clark. Like, if someone like in a random location other than South Texas looks up Charlie Clark, they won't find.
Yeah, that's why you gotta look up Charlie Clark and then the company that he works for.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Then
mean,
you'll find.
Yeah, because like, you know, he literally he's a franchisee, bro. You don't know franchisees globally or like nationally, bro. Like, this is a local franchise. He's a very local businessman. Like, think about, like, it's almost like it's literally, and I mean this in the most sincere way, like in economically and everything. It's completely analogous, like super similar, as if you were gonna say, hey, you know who owns the local McDonald's down in like Buckingham in the UK? Like, that's a franchisee. No one's gonna know that.
Charlie
here.
Clark.
He's the owner.
He's been a core part of the valley, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, Dalegas, dude.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I can give you that. Man. It's important to the local culture.
All right, so shall we wrap this up?
Yeah.
I think this is a
Was
fair, good, decent enough.
A comeback, a good comeback.
No, this is the first episode.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's just for the.
So, expect a giveaway from these guys. Naturally, I'll just a guess.
Guys, we're gonna give away a camcorder. I've paid for it by Charlie Clark.
I'm gonna give out a camcorder. I'm gonna give out a paintball gun.
A paintball gun.
Yeah, I'll go buy one. I'll give away a paintball gun.
All right. Well, you guys heard it here.
But two separate winners. Don't think you're gonna get the camcorder and the paintball gun.
Don't be greedy now.
Don't be
we're not mrbeast where it's like, oh, we felt bad you lost, so we gave you like $5,000. Like, sorry you didn't win, but I'll give you like $10K. No, like, if you lose, dude, like, just don't cry, like, go win.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap, guys. Welcome. Thank you guys for tuning into the Beans with Dreams podcast. Expect more.
Maybe expect less. You know, we don't know. We don't know from but like, you know, we could be getting more episodes. But I mean, expect less in terms of the quality. I won't be there. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Matthew, thank you for joining us
Yeah,
today.
of course. Yeah, it's an honor. It's an honor, gentlemen. Absolutely.
Alright.
I'll continue.
And
Adios.